The exhibition came about after a number of us went on some walks with Analog Wonderland, who was supplying film. I happened to organise one in Armagh, and in the visit that we were going around from two cathedrals, we ended up in Robinson's library. We had a little exhibition in there, and when I delivered that, 8 images, Dean Shane Forrester, who's the Church of Ireland Cathedral Dean, says, "Do you fancy an exhibition? And do you fancy doing it on From Darkness into Light?" So that's where the genesis of this came from. And we were kind of working on the idea, how do you interpret this? So we thought we'd just do it all in black and white, because obviously in black and white you've got blacks going right through into white kind of thing. And it allowed people to just express themselves in a way that they hadn't done before. So most of the images that you're seeing here are by amateur photographers, and the majority of them never had their work shown anywhere else before. And I just said, look, we need your work shown. You've got to have your work shown. So this gave them an opportunity. So this is the 3rd exhibition we've had of this work. The first was in the Church of Ireland Cathedral, St Patrick's in Armagh. The second one was in the Cardinal O'Fee Library. And we were lucky enough to have it here in Newry. By accident, there was a cancellation. They just said, can you slot this in? So we thought we'd get it in there. So that's where we are.
When you look back at that, you say that the sort of the Genesis, and I love the biblical reference there.
Accidentally,
that Genesis of that sort of analog journey, that analog walk. What's that all about?
So what we're finding is, I have a digital camera, and I went to Canada to visit my grandchildren, and I shot 700 shots, just nonsense.
As you do.
And they get lost. One of the lovely things is that we're using old film cameras, 35mm, some of us medium format. I've got a little twin lens reflex and stuff. You slow down. You in the medium format, you've got 12 frames, so you don't want to go through those too quickly. In a 35mm camera, you've got 24 to 36. And so you really slow down and think about the photograph you're taking. And the whole thing is about slowing down, thinking about it, and then taking a photograph. In fact, I put a roll of film in it, and the counter was missing on one of my cameras. It was a Pentax MX. And it seemed to go on for ages and ages and ages and ages. I kind of go, where's this roll of film? But it's because I was just stopping in the moment and taking a photograph when something grabbed me, and just taking one. And they all seem to come out. We seem to have this panic with digital cameras that you think, there's never going to be a photograph. Let's just shoot. And you can be shooting like 25 frames per second. I can go, that's video. Why are you shooting video? You may as well just use a video camera. But these, it's just that capturing that moment that you happen to come across, freezing a moment in time that's always in the past, but it's something for everybody in every generation to look for.
And as you look around the exhibition, and you've seen it grow, and you've seen that sort of journey that it's had from the walk between the cathedrals to adding in other perspectives as well. When you look at it, what do you see, and what catches your eye? This is 11 photographers have done their work, and it was important to have a community of photographers do their work, because how often do you get a chance to talk about what you're doing or share a passion with somebody else? And this is what this is. It's about building community, and already, although this is black and white, which takes out the colour, so there's no distraction of colour. I'm now talking to a number of other photographers in the Drummond-T and Jonesboro area who are shooting digital, but they have a passion for photography as well. And it's colour. And we want to show their work as a piece of history, something that captures 2026 that isn't all the palaver that you get out there at the moment, but is a moment that was special to those individuals that they want to show off to somebody else for history. And we'll have a historical document that we can keep for years and years and years to go. Because you only had, as you said, maybe 12 or 24 shots. Yeah. You didn't fire them all off.
Absolutely.
You took the film down to Felix McNally's and left it in. And a week or maybe 10 days later, you came back with your photograph process. And until that moment of going back into Felix McNally's and opening up the big envelope, you did not really know
what you're going to capture.
What you were going to see and what you'd capture.
Well, I have a little story, because last week we'd gone to St George's Market in Belfast, and we're taking photographs, and I took a little twin lens reflex. And I got I was going up to people and saying, do you mind if I take a photograph? Yeah, please go ahead. So we took them as they were doing natural stuff. I thought to myself when I got home, I've got to make sure I process this right. So I processed that. So I got an old 35mm roll. It didn't matter what happened to that. Yeah, the chemicals are fine.
And then absentmindedly, the first roll of the other, I put fix in instead of Dev. And I went, oh no! So I washed it out as quickly as possible. So there's a little wave on the film, but thankfully I've managed to kept the shots that I wanted, cropped in a little bit more. And one of the three of the photographs I'm getting printed up by somebody else. And again, as you said, you didn't know whether or not, on the Saturday that we shot it, it was like a week later before I found out whether I got any images or whether the film was ruined or whatnot. I've got some lovely images, and I'm going to take 3 photographs of 3 of the people up to Belfast and just give it to them as a gift.
Lovely, that's nice, isn't it?
That's the way to go, yeah.
And one of the things that I look around about and see in some of the photographs, and all of the photographs as well,
Yeah.
what attracts my eye is light.
Yes.
And how light can play on the subject, be it a person, be it the trees, there's Venice over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's Venice.
It is Venice,
canal,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
how the light can change what you see
absolutely.
in the moment, and then off the film through that development process, how light changes there as well.
Well, one of the things is we've got Peter here, whose photographs are over in the corner there, and you'll see that he's been using some infrared film, which changes the way the light is received anyway. We'd all gone up to Crawfordsburn Park near Bangor, and there's a lovely waterfall up there, and we were taking photographs, and he was kind of going, it's never going to be as good as this one. And he showed us one from early morning where the sun was coming through and all the light rays, and we were kind of going, we can't compete with that. It's not about competition, but it's just that different times of day, different lighting, different
the golden
effects.
hour,
The golden hour, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've got a photograph.
Will look for.
Yeah. Well, I got a photograph up there which looks all black, but right in the corner, in the top left, there's a little circle of light where there's a silhouette of a person, and it's just that you can see details in the darkness. But it was just this idea of walking into the light, and it was my interpretation of that particular from darkness into light theme.
Well, listen, it's a wonderful exhibition.
Thank you very much.
Come and have a look at it, capture the images, think about it, and think about the next time you lift your digital camera or your film camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the moment you're trying to capture? Don't hoover up everything.
Absolutely, don't hoover. The other thing is that if you're going to spend £2,500 on a digital camera, why not look on eBay and pick up a camera for about 15 or 20 quid? A roll of film, it may cost about £6 for black and white, £15 for colour, but you're not going to spend £2,500.
That's true.
And you can learn how to process the film, and you've put something into that a digital one, which is really kind of throwaway. So that's more important. I fixed up a little Pratica recently. There was a problem with the release button, and I 3D printed something that went inside, and it worked. And that camera's gone off to Australia now because somebody else has just got enthusiastic with film and they wanted to get into it. And what best to use? A Pratica MTL3, which cost about 15 quid off eBay.
There you go.
They're going up though because more and more people are getting interested.
You're hoovering them all up.
I'm hoovering them all up, yeah. I'm hoovering them all up. I've got loads of cameras, and my wife's saying you need to get rid of these cameras, but I'm giving them to people. They're getting, and I think that's the important thing. Yeah, get into this. I have negatives from 40, 50 years ago. I won't lose those negatives. They'll still be around. I'm losing all the digital hard drives because they keep changing formats and things. And something you think you've got won't work the next day. But I can go back and rescan all those negatives whenever I like, and they're going to be a sort of family heirloom for the future, especially with grandchildren growing up now. I want to know, what does Papa do? And what did he do? What was he up to? And the fact that they've got images of him. And I'm trying to do the same with cinefilm and any videos that we would have had in the past. Just memories for the young ones to look at and see where they come from. Very important. Everybody's story is important. You need to capture it.